At some point, someone told you that you were too quiet. Maybe it was a teacher, a parent, a boss in a performance review, a friend who meant well but still said it. You should put yourself out there more. And somewhere along the way, you started believing them. You started treating your quietness like a problem to fix, something to apologize for, something to overcome. I want to offer you a different idea today. What if the thing they called a weakness is actually the thing that makes you see the world more clearly than almost anyone around you? Here's something that took me a long time to understand about introversion. It has nothing to do with being shy, nothing to do with being antisocial, and it has nothing to do with not liking people. Introversion is about where your energy comes from, and more importantly, where it goes. Extroverts recharge by being around people. Introverts recharge by being alone. That's the whole difference. Everything else, the quietness, the depth, the way you notice things others miss, those aren't symptoms of introversion. Those are the gifts that come with it. Psychologist Carl Jung, who first described introversion as a personality trait, wrote that introverts direct their energy inward, toward reflection, depth, and meaning. While the world rewards people who talk loudly and move fast, introverts are doing something the world rarely gives credit for. They're paying attention. And today, I want to talk about what that actually means and why it might be the most underestimated advantage in the room. The first power. You read rooms that other people walk right through. When an introvert enters a space, something happens automatically. You scan. You observe. You notice the person in the corner who looks uncomfortable. You notice the tension between two people who are smiling at each other. You notice when someone's words and their body language don't quite match. You've probably always done this. You might have thought everyone did. They don't. Research from the University of Michigan found that introverts consistently outperform extroverts in tasks that require careful observation and reading social cues. Not because introverts are smarter, but because they're actually looking. While the extrovert in the room is thinking about what to say next, you're watching what's actually happening. That's not shyness. That's a form of social intelligence that most people never develop. The second power. Your silence makes people trust you in ways they can't explain. Think about the most trustworthy person you know. Chances are they're not the loudest person in the room. They're the one who listens. Really listens, not just waiting for their turn to talk. Introverts do this naturally, and people feel it. There's something about being in the presence of someone who isn't performing, isn't filling every silence, isn't making the conversation about themselves, that makes people open up in ways they don't expect. You've probably had the experience of someone telling you something very personal very quickly, something they said they hadn't told many people. That wasn't a coincidence. Your quietness created a space safe enough for them to be honest. That's rare, and it's powerful in ways most people never recognize as power. The third power. You think before you speak, and that changes everything you say. In a world that rewards the fastest response, the loudest opinion, the most immediate reaction, the introvert's instinct to pause and think first is treated like a weakness. It isn't. When you finally say something, it tends to matter. You've already turned it over in your mind. You've considered the angles. You've chosen your words deliberately. That's not slow. That's precise. And precision in communication is a form of respect for the other person and for the truth. The fourth power. You are deeply comfortable with your own company. This sounds simple. It isn't. Most people cannot be alone with their own thoughts for very long before reaching for a distraction. Their phone, background noise, something, anything to fill the quiet. Introverts have built a relationship with solitude that most people never develop. And in that solitude, something happens. You get to know yourself. Your actual values, not the ones you perform for others. Your actual desires, not the ones that sound good in conversation. Self-knowledge is the foundation of almost every meaningful thing a person can build, and introverts often have a head start that they don't even realize. The fifth power. You feel things deeply, and that depth is a form of wisdom. Not everyone processes the world at the same depth. Introverts tend to sit with experiences longer, feel them more fully, and extract more meaning from them before moving on. The world often reads this as oversensitivity, as being too much, as not being able to let things go. But depth of feeling is how you develop empathy. It's how you develop nuance. It's how you come to understand things and people that others skim right past. The people who have changed the world in art, in science, in literature, in human understanding, have almost always been people who felt things deeply and refused to look away from that depth. You are one of those people. 5 powers. Reading rooms others walk through, creating trust through silence, thinking before speaking, being at home in solitude, and feeling the world at a depth most people never reach. None of these were weaknesses. They never were. They were just qualities that a loud, fast, always-on world didn't know how to value. So it told you they were problems. And you believed it because you were young and because the world was very convincing. But here's what I want you to take with you today. The quietest person in the room is often the one who understands it the most. The one who has already considered every angle by the time the conversation even starts. The one who will remember this moment long after everyone else has forgotten it. That's you. Not a problem. Not someone who needs to be fixed. Someone who sees the world differently and more clearly than most. If this landed for you, save it. Come back to it on the days when the world makes you feel like your quietness is something to apologize for. And if someone in your life needs to hear this, send it to them. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for someone is show them that they were never broken to begin with. I'll see you in the next one.